The family next door decided that my apartment is an extension of theirs. I live in a relatively quiet condo where most residents know each other and get along well. Recently, a new family moved into the apartment next to mine. At first, they seemed really friendly. Sarah, the mom, always smiled and tried to chat whenever we crossed paths in the hallway. Her two young kids also seemed adorable, always running and playing nearby. Everything seemed perfect, like we had the ideal new neighbors, until things slowly started to change. At first, it was just minor inconveniences. One day, I came home to find toys scattered all over the hallway in front of my door. I thought it was an accident, so I gathered them up and returned them. However, they kept appearing, as if the hallway was an extension of their apartment. It was starting to get on my nerves, but I figured it was just a phase and didn't think it was serious enough to address. Maybe they were just adjusting to the new place. As the weeks went by, the noise from the apartment next door started to increase. It wasn't just the sound of kids playing. There was also loud music and constant banging on the walls, like they were rearranging furniture 24/7. Sometimes it sounded like they were hosting full-blown parties at all hours. One night, around 11, the noise was so loud that I had no choice but to go over and ask them to turn it down. Sarah apologized and promised to be more mindful, but unfortunately, the situation didn't improve. Our condo has a communal laundry room that needs to be reserved in advance. One Saturday, I reserved the laundry room to wash my clothes, but when I got there, all the machines were occupied with Sarah's laundry. I waited for an hour, but she never showed up to pick up her clothes. When I finally found her and mentioned it, she just shrugged and said she forgot to check the reservation, as if it was no big deal. Her casual attitude left me speechless. After that incident, I started noticing that some of my belongings were disappearing. At first, it was small items from my balcony, like plants and decorations. But soon, personal items from inside my apartment started to go missing too, and my suspicions grew. Then, one day, I came home to find Sarah and her kids in my living room, acting like it was the most natural thing in the world. She claimed the door was open. It wasn't. And that the kids wanted to see my decorations. That's when I realized I needed to take action. I decided to install a security camera inside my apartment and change the locks. I also started locking my balcony door. I spoke with other neighbors and found out that I wasn't the only one having issues with Sarah's family. Together, we decided to file a formal complaint with the condo manager. After several meetings and discussions, the manager decided to send a formal warning to Sarah's family. She wasn't happy and tried to argue that we were being unfair, but the evidence was undeniable. Still, it wasn't enough to change their behavior. The situation escalated, and one night, they threw yet another loud party that lasted until the early hours. At this point, many residents were at their wits' end, so we created a petition to have the family removed from the condo. With over 80% of the residents signing, the manager called an emergency meeting. At the meeting, the manager presented all the complaints and evidence against Sarah's family. They tried to defend themselves, but the evidence was overwhelming. Finally, the manager announced that the family would have 30 days to move out, or they would be legally evicted. In the days that followed, the tension in the condo was palpable. Sarah and her family began packing their things quietly, avoiding interaction with anyone. On the last day of their notice, they left without saying goodbye to anyone. Honestly, I preferred it that way. All I wanted was to avoid more conflict, and for them to leave quickly. I finally felt relieved, knowing the condo would go back to being the peaceful place it had always been.